Okay, guys, very good morning, all. So, coming to today's session, we will try to know how polymorphism is going to help us out. So, in yesterday's class, we were discussing about final keyword, right? Final keyword with respect to final variable, final method, and final class. Okay. Yes. So, hope you are able to hear my voice and you are able to see my screen. Yes. Please respond. You may respond in the chat box. If everything is perfect, then we can proceed. Okay, fine, Harsha. So as part of polymorphism, we are going to see some subtopics like what is static polymorphism. Anyhow, we'll understand what is polymorphism, then followed by types of polymorphism, okay, which is again of two types, static polymorphism and dynamic polymorphism. Okay. Usually we call method overloading, method overriding. Okay. Then polymorphism with static methods and private methods, and of course we have already done with this final method. So I'll stress much onto polymorphism concept in this session. So what do you mean by polymorphism? What do you mean by polymorphism? We have already done in our initial units. First unit I already spoke about polymorphism. An object showing different behaviors. Okay. Different behaviors at different stages of life cycle, right? So I gave you example of student behaving differently. Okay, when he's in a class, he behaves differently. When he goes to a faculty, he behaves differently. When he goes to a HOD, he behaves differently, right? And when he goes to his hostel, he behaves differently. Similarly, when he goes to his house, he behaves differently, right? And similarly, I gave example of a mom, mom preparing some delicious food in the kitchen, okay, and she behaves differently when son or maybe his or her kid responds like he's feeling hungry, and suddenly she might have got call from her husband, okay, then she has to answer the call. She has to again take family members, right? So an object behave in differently at different stages of life cycle, performing single action in different ways. I gave you example of payment of bill. Payment of bill can be done using cash on delivery, or maybe through debit card or through credit card, or maybe through some online payment like maybe Phone Pay, Google Pay, Paytm, right? Or maybe you go to bank and you give a check or a DD. Okay, so different modes of payment. Okay. Yes, cryptocurrency, yeah, everything. Okay. So in detail, if we go into again polymorphism, okay, it is again categorized into two. One is compile time polymorphism, the other is runtime polymorphism. Okay. Compile time polymorphism or static binding or early binding. Okay. Please remember the terminology. Compile time, static, early. Early in the sense compile time, late in the sense runtime. When I say runtime, it is dynamic. Compile time, static. Okay. So how do this compile time polymorphism or runtime polymorphism is question again. So we achieve this compile time polymorphism or static binding or early binding by using the concept of method overloading or constructor overloading. Okay, fine. And again, people talk about operator overloading also. So method overloading or constructor overloading or operator overloading. Then when we go with runtime polymorphism or dynamic binding or late binding, okay. So we achieve this runtime polymorphism by the help of method overriding. So our class for today is all about how do we go with this method overloading or constructor overloading or operator overloading, and followed by method overriding. Okay. So very important concept, guys, in terms of programming. Also, if you go to interview also, so if he wants to ask some concept from object oriented programming, then definitely, this would be the highlight concept. So you must be so much careful when you answer it. Okay. So every time you don't expect, like, interviewer will be asking you compile time polymorphism or runtime polymorphism. Sometimes he might give you a question saying like, explain about static binding, explain about dynamic binding, or explain about early binding and late binding. Okay. So if you are good at the terminology, then it shouldn't become a problem to you to answer in the interview. Okay. So we'll see first compile time polymorphism in the form of method overloading, and constructor overloading, and then operator overloading. Right? Now question comes, what is overloading, or what is mean by method overloading in Java? Okay. When our same method name is existing multiple times within the same class, but either with different number of parameters, or with different order of parameters, or with different type of parameters, then it is known as method overloading. Okay. Again, I'm repeating, in the same class, if a method is existing more than once, okay, multiple times, fine, you can write in that way, but okay, there must be either with change with respect to number of parameters, or order of parameters, or type of parameters, the data type. Okay. Yeah, we'll understand about it, Vijay. Okay, we'll go step by step, don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah, return type, then followed by the method name. Okay. So with respect to data type, okay, with respect to number of variables and order of variables. Okay. So very clearly telling different ways to overload a particular method is with respect to number of arguments, first thing. Second is type of arguments. What type of data value are you passing through your arguments? And then the sequence of arguments. If you are changing the sequence, that is also fine. Okay. So here I gave you some examples like void M1. We have only one parameter here, or argument. Here we have two arguments. Okay. So class contains more than one method with the same name but different number of arguments. In that case also we call it as method overloading. Or yeah, coming to here, we have same method name but with different type of arguments. Here we have integer data, here we have character type. In this case also we can tell like it is following your method overloading concept. Or yeah, in this case, order of arguments, order of passing your arguments have changed. Okay. So this is also satisfying your method overloading concept. Is that clear, guys? Let's quickly move as a small example to make us concept more clear. I'll just go with, let me save this. Okay, let me just, okay, I'll just use some two methods. One, I'll just use a class and class student, and then I'll use the main method. First, let's work with this demo underscore compile time polymorphism. Let me work with compile time polymorphism. Let me save this program, desktop. Okay, demo underscore compile time polymorphism. Okay. Yes, perfect. Then let me write my main method. Public static void main string arguments. Fine. So coming to my class, so my concept is to work on to compile time polymorphism method overloading. So let me write a method called okay, let me just perform some addition to make it simple to you. So I just want to add x comma y values, two values. Okay. So let me go with integer data type. Okay. Okay, fine. And let me not return any value back. I'll just try to display from here itself. Okay. Now my concept is overloading. So I want to again use the same method. But here what I'll do is I'll try to three arguments. Okay. Let me declare them. Int okay, this becomes formal and actual argument. So let me declare it as a comma b comma c. Okay, fine. Then I'll tell a equal to x, b equal to y. Okay, then coming to here, a equal to x, b equal to y, then c equal to z. So I want to calculate this. So let me tell c equal to a plus b. Right. So here, as I want to calculate this three values, so let me make use of d equal to a plus a plus b plus c. Okay, right. So let me display from here itself. System dot out dot println. Okay, this c value is okay colon then c. Okay, then similarly I'll just display it here. Just a minute. Okay, the d value is okay, right. So this job we have done. Now let's move on to our main method and then create instances of this. Okay, so I have to create instance of student class, right? What is the class name we have used? Student. student 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 s equal to new student. Okay. Then let me create let me pass the values through. So first method I have 100 comma 200. I'm just passing because a and b values. Then second is dot add of 100 comma 200 comma 300. Right. Now tell me, any errors? Any errors, guys? Do you have any errors here? Okay, let's compile. Java C not student demo underscore compile time polymorphism dot java. What is the output you are expecting? Do we get any runtime error here or compile time error? Of course, we have not got any compile time errors. Any runtime errors you are expecting, guys? Output. Okay, Vijay says 300 to 600. Okay, 300, 600, fine. Yeah. Anyhow, our agenda is not about output. So anyhow, you'll get that result. Okay, fine. So the point here is when I have called s1.add, okay, so what it has done, it has checked how many values you are passing here. Okay, I'm passing two values. So x and y. It is not calling this method. It is calling method called add with two parameters or two arguments. When I say s dot add of 100, 200, 300, then it is calling this method. Okay. So did we satisfy the polymorphism, compile time polymorphism concept? Yes, I can have a method with same name within a class. Okay. But with respect to different number of arguments. Is that clear, guys? Hope you are clear. Hope everybody is clear. Okay, fine. So next case, so we can change the type of arguments. Okay. For example, I'm just using here as float, 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 and here I just want to go with two arguments only. Okay, I'm just changing the type of arguments here. Again, c equal to, just observe the changes. Just a minute. Okay, so here also I just okay, okay, fine. Okay, I'm not using only ABC. Okay, okay, I'm only using ABC, right? Now, 200.042F, right? So in this case, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to change. Okay, I did not save this program. Something went wrong. Where is it? S dot add. Yes, guys. So what is the error? What is the error? Can someone tell me what is the error here? Yes, absolutely. Okay. So we are trying to pass only two, but we are sending the three values. कहाँ चलेगा ये? Okay. Right. What is the output you are expecting again? Same again. It will give you in first type. It will give you summation of integer and float, and in second one, it will also give you summation of integer and float. I mean, sorry, integer, both integer values. Okay. Yeah. So first time it gave me C value is 300.043, right? Okay. Then second case it gives C value is 300.0. Why 0? Because I have declared this as float. Okay, right? Is that clear, guys? So we have seen with respect to number of arguments, type of arguments. Okay, now we'll see with respect to order of arguments. Okay, or else just let me make small change here. Okay, float x int y. Then remaining story is same again. So here, while passing values, I'll just pass f. Okay, fine. Because in first method, int float. Then second method, I have float int. So accordingly, it will call that respective method. Let me save my program. Okay. Right. Perfect. First time when I say integer float, then it will be calling void add of int float method. Then second time s dot add of 100.23, then float value, then integer value. Okay, guys. Accordingly, it is going to display you the results. Is that clear? Are you all clear with three concepts? Type of arguments, order of arguments, then sequence of arguments, or number of arguments, or order of arguments, then type of arguments. Okay. Yeah. We'll also see one example of method overloading with respect to operator. Okay. So, or else will you work with an assignment kind of thing? Like on to operator, you can check with multiplication and addition. Multiplication and addition. Can you just check it? Multiplication and addition. No response in chat box. Operator overloading. Will you do it, guys? Did you try it before? Okay, what difference you see? Okay. Okay, Vijay has some question. Vijay, tell me, Vijay. What about return type, sir? See, method overloading has nothing to do with return type, Vijay, to be open. Okay. So if there are two methods of same signature within same class of program, then obviously there would be an error. It would be an ambiguity situation again. Okay, if signature is same. Okay, whether the return type is different or not, that doesn't makes difference there. Okay, so it's clear that method overloading has no relation with the return type. Okay, so compiler doesn't consider the return type while differentiating the overloading of methods. I hope you are clear, Vijay. Okay, so how about operator overloading? You guys are going to do it so that I can move on with overriding. Only Harsha has responded, Vijay has responded. How about others? Okay, just a minute. Okay, let me do a small program to you again. Don't worry, I'll save all these programs. I'll share you a document. I know you are so lazy, so you are expecting all ready-made things. Okay. So method overloading. Okay, fine. Compile time method overloading. Okay, fine. Let me save it as main under compile time method overloading. Okay. Oh my god, I saved it as okay. Okay, just a minute. Okay, I'm just changing the name here so that there won't be again problem while running the program. Okay. Okay, fine, guys. So in this program, let's try to just calculate some addition and power, I mean square of some values. So public static void main. Okay. In this class, I'm writing a method called calc, okay, calculation. Then the same method I would like to overload. Okay. So in one method, I would like to actually perform square. In other method, I would like to perform addition. Okay. So here, I'll just take some variable. I'll declare a variable here. Let's a comma b. Then system dot out dot println. Perform square of a is okay. Fine. So how do you perform? So a into a, right? Okay. So here again actual variable formal values. Then I'll just assign some other variable here. Okay, x, right? Then similarly, okay, let me take this value here. I'll declare int x. So here again I'll declare int x comma int y. Okay. And a equal to x, b equal to y. And again same, I would like to perform addition here. Okay. A plus b, right? So addition of a and b is okay, right? Any error? Okay, fine. So here what I have to do, I have to create object. So test t1 equal to new test. Okay. Then t1 dot tal of 25 comma 35. Okay. Then t1 dot cal of 50. Okay. Fine. So when I say t1 dot cal of 25 comma 35, which method is going to call, and t1 dot cal of 50, which method is going to call, and what would be the result? So here place operator is used for calculation. I mean, it's used for concatenating the string value followed by the result. Here it is used for addition of these two values a and b. Please observe the difference here. Okay. Yes. Let me save the program. Java C test.java. I'm sorry. Java C main underscore, what's the file name? CTMO dot Java. Okay, fine. Is that clear, guys? I hope you can try with a lot of other combinations to make it more precise. Okay. So coming back to your method overriding concept. What is method overriding, sir? Okay. So overriding of method. When our method's parent has by default available to child through inheritance, sometimes child may not satisfy with the parent method implementation. I told you yesterday, parent has already defined a method called property. Okay, so before 10 years itself, parent has defined like this is a property method. This is how the property will be shared to 3 children or 4 children. Okay. Now what happened? The child is not satisfied. Maybe with some feature. Okay, maybe property or maybe land, well, some other thing. Okay. So in this case, how do I resolve this problem? Okay. One thing is the child is not allowed to redefine the method based on his requirement. Okay. So child is allowed to redefine that method based on his requirement. How? By calling overriding concept. Okay. So for that, we are going to make use of overriding of method concept. So most often we use it with combination with inheritance, but I'm just covering here. Okay. So if you see here, there's a class called walking and you have void walk. Okay. And man walking slowly. Of course, you'll get the same man walking slowly. Okay. So problem is that I have to provide a specific implementation of walk method in the subclass. So what I am doing here is I'm just changing that implementation here. You can observe here. Okay. So this is your parent class. I've written my child class. Okay. So what I've done is this implementation part, okay, I'm changing in my child class. Same method I can use. I can change the implementation part. Here it is man walking fastly. Here man walking slowly. Okay. Now what output you expect, guys? What output you expect for this program? Just a minute. Yes, what output are you expecting for this program, guys? Man walking slowly or man walking fastly? Obviously, you have created object to child class, right? Huh. Okay. So you'll get man walking slowly. Okay. Man walking slowly would be a result. You want me to compile and show you? Okay. So what is the program name here? Java C overriding demo.java. Something went wrong. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. W is capital there. You have written small here. Okay. Fine. Perfect. Okay. Is that clear, guys? So tomorrow there would be a situation like, you know, I'll just take this example only. So class, let me take parent. As I said, you know, parent is having property. Okay. So void property. Then you know, parent said if you study well, only then this property will be there. Again, he has put constraint like study. Okay, right. Okay. So there are two constraints from parent. Okay. So in the study, again, you know, parent wants that, you know, you need to study BTech only. Okay, so you must study only BTech. Okay, right. Then if you study BTech, then I have some property which I'll be giving it to you. Okay, so property like you know, house, okay, land, okay, amount, all that, right? Now what happened as a child? Okay, as child will obviously extend to parent. Okay, child will obviously extend to parent. Just a minute. Now child also has his requirement now. Okay, child says, okay, I'll study fine. Okay, there's no issue with it. I'll definitely study. I'll override. I mean, I'll use your property and I'll study also. But there is a constraint from child saying like, I don't want to do this BTech because you know everybody is going and doing BTech. Okay, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be onto some administrative side. Okay, I want to work as some you know management side. Okay, so child said, no, I don't want to do this BTech. I'll okay do my MBA. Okay, I will study only MBA. Okay, see now what child has done? He has overridden this method. Okay, he has overridden this method and he has changed that implementation. Right? Accepted, guys. Is that clear to you all? In real time, how do we use this method overloading, overriding? Okay. Similarly, you can work with college management administrative system also. Okay, maybe some method, you have to sometimes override. Okay, few things you will overload anyhow, but sometimes requirement might come, I have to override, I have to change that features. Okay, based on some innovative clubs. Okay, club to club, there might be some variation. Okay, you need not say that you have to first study tools, then go for building side. No. Somebody says no, first you have to do design, then you have to go for implementation. Reverse engineering. You says you have to go with forward engineering. Okay. You say I'll do project, void project, but the way you do project is different here. Whether you follow forward engineering or reverse engineering, that's the question there. Right? So we'll quickly move on to the differences between overloading and overriding, guys. When you go with overloading and overriding, I am going with some property here. Method names must be same in both cases. Just now we have seen. Okay. Method names must be same. Sir, what about the argument types? Must be different, at least order. Okay. But here it must be same in overriding. Okay. Method signature with respect to overloading, it must be different. Okay. Signature. But here it must be same again. Right? Then return type. There's no restriction with respect to overloading. Okay. But with respect to overriding, must be same. Okay. But till what level? This rule was applicable until 1.5, 1.4 version only. But from 1.5 version onwards, covariant return types are allowed. So there is no problem at all again. Right? Then coming to private, static and final methods can be overloaded. Whereas overriding cannot be overridden. With respect to access modifiers, there's no restriction at all. Okay. Here, we cannot reduce the scope of access modifier, but we can increase the scope of access modifier. I already spoke about the scope of access modifiers. You cannot reduce, but you have to increase. Okay. Private, public, protected, default. Okay. Then with respect to exceptional handling, there is no restriction in overloading. But with respect to exceptional handling in overriding, if child class method throws any checked exception, compulsory parent class method should throw the same exception. Else, you will return in compile time error. Okay. So about this concept, we will anyhow see in exceptional handling in 4th unit in detail. Okay. What is this exception? What is this checked exception, unchecked exception, why there's restrictions, all that. Then method resolution always takes care by compiler based on reference type, object type. But in this case, it will be taken care by JVM. Okay. Then other names, as we have already discussed, either compile time or static binding or early binding. Here it is runtime, dynamic binding or late binding. Okay. So in the interview, these are the kind of questions which will be facing, guys. Difference between overloading and overriding. Okay. Most of the students talk about these first 3 points and they say we have done. Okay. Now you have under half a dozen differences which you can explain to the interviewer, where he'll be feeling more happy. Okay. Don't tell this difference and tell sir I'm done. Okay. So I have to elaborate. Right. So access modifiers also, I'm telling you with respect to child class, parent class, anyhow, I'll be covering in inheritance. Don't worry about it. And this exceptional handling also, I'll be covering in exceptional handling concept in detail. Okay. Types of exceptions, checked exceptions, unchecked exceptions. Okay. Then when to throw what kind of exception, right? Parent exception, child exception. Okay. Parent class, subclass. That's what I mean to tell you. Right. So I want you guys to have an practice on to this both concepts, compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Okay, I want you guys to uh, get complete idea about these concepts. I'll share these programs what I have done. Okay, you can also work on this. You can also try out with some demo programs so that it will make you to understand concepts more precise. Right. So I think we have done with polymorphism session. If you have any queries, you can mark in the chat box. If everything is clear, then we'll move on with our lab session. Yeah, that's what Vijay. Yeah, you do have lab questions related to polymorphism. Okay, so let me just share the document to you guys. So if you go with lab 3, okay, lab 3 is all about classes and objects. Then lab 4 is on your strings concept. Yeah, lab 5, I mean week 5, you can work onto your polymorphism concept. Okay, wrapper classes we have already done first program. Then I want you guys to work with these concepts today. Okay, yeah, lab 6 also, method overloading, overriding. Okay, so till lab 6 you guys can complete. You have program on super keyword. Okay, this keyword. Okay, static keyword. Okay, so I want you guys to work on week 5 and week 6 as on today. Okay, and if you face any problem anywhere, please bring it to my notice. I'll get back to you. I'll explain you that program. I don't want to give you ready-made code here again. I don't want to type the code. So I'll explain you how to follow that scenario. Don't look at the question and don't come to a conclusion like we are not able to do it. So you have to understand the question. You have to understand the question, and you have to first check out what are the classes I have to mark. Then what are the methods I have to mark? What are the variables I have to declare? Okay, you have to write step by step. Okay, then you will analyze. Okay, so week 5 and week 6 will be your task. You need not do week 4 as of now. Let me complete strings concept, then you can do week 4. Is that clear, guys? I'll share this document also. So that's all for today's session, guys. Thank you all. Sorry. So please keep practicing. Anyhow, I'll share you the lab submission links. So I'll give you a week of time. You can submit after a week. So for every week programs, I'll give you 1 week of duration. So don't worry. So you'll get enough time to submit them. Right. You can get back to your lab work, guys. See you all in the next session. Thank you all. Yeah, Harsha, any doubts, Harsha? You have raised hand. Somebody have raised hand. Okay, fine.